Welcome back to the Wanna Parlay podcast. I'm Lance Bell. Next to me is Jack Neuheisel. Jack, go ahead and tell the folks about the beautiful people that sponsor this podcast.
National Championship Monday, Lance. I'm fucking fired up over here. The show is brought to you by Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every day people are turning $2 into $2,000. If this is your first time joining us for the Wanna Parlay podcast, we like to do Mondays a little bit differently around here, a little bit more of an emphasis on the Wanna leaderboards and the names at the top of it, celebrating all of our winners and best parlays from the weekend. With that being said, there are tons of special shout outs to hand out today. As always, we start with the pick'ems. Pick 7. It was an Ofer burger, Lance. Tells you how hard it was this weekend. At least I'm justifying that to myself. It was a bad Sunday. Good Saturday in the betting sphere, bad Sunday. And it always, when it's the bad second day, it gets real bad real quick. Pick 6, Don D333, one of my favorite names. Just fun to say. Go get yourself 500 biggies, Don. Love it for you. 80 more than you would have made anywhere else. Big Za winning that on Saturday. Maybe my actual official favorite name on the page right now. Big Za making himself 500 as well. Pick 5, long legs. I'll believe it when I see it, Viviana. 250 more, I suppose. Freak stuff, but whatever until you come on the show. Be Free, first time seeing them up on a meaningful leaderboard. Wins this Saturday. Our guy, David Smerling, the One Mad Raider, posts a silver medal in that same contest. And our Will is back on the leaderboard as well. Love it for you, Rye Guy. The Pick 4, Dialed Picks. Jeez, man. It wouldn't quite be a leaderboard without Dialed Picks on it. And then our guy Smerling back on there, One Mad Raider. Make himself a quick 100 on that page. So good stuff for the people we care about around here. And now the heavy hitters. Parlay Royale, Canes 026 wins $1,000. Hoping to have him on the show later this week. Lance, fun facts about this guy. This is KG's buddy Art. So we've been pumping the drop takeover going down at Little Joe's on February 10th. This is the guy that's going to be behind the bar pouring drinks and swapping stories. So we're going to go get ourselves a little cocktail fun with this guy. Exciting stuff. And then the main event, Cicero Rocky 3x9 at 47 went all the way into the weekend. I was shocked. For a second, I thought it was going to defy all the odds. You still hung on for 4th place, but we had some absolute dogs hunting this weekend. KG gets a bronze medal. He stays hot, wins 400. Maria RZ, one of the top female players in WANA history. One of my very first interviews back in the day. Back on the leaderboard at second with $500. A full 365 more than she would have made anywhere else. But at the top of it all, our gold medalist and proud winner of $2,000, Dylan's cashing. Way to go, kid. Round of applause from Lance and I. Good stuff. It's his second time winning the main event. Quick check-in, by the way, Lance. That's $4,000 made on $4 down. Pretty good stuff. He's now up 4,540 overall on the Wanna Parlay platform. It is indeed good to be good. And hopefully we get to track him down later. We've got messages out to him. I'm sure he's off celebrating somewhere and in a stupor. We'll get him when he sobers up. We are excited to have Joe Bags back on the show later today. Joe Bags is in desperate need of some Wanna wins. He's been peppering at the board. He was an early big-time name to contend with, and since then, the Dialed Picks of the world have just left this guy in the dust. So hoping his last chance at college football propels him onto a great slate of March Madness basketball and other things to come. Lance, we got a big-time game starting in an hour and a half, so we got to cook today. Let's say accountability hour. Let's make sure we get our picks out. We got to turn these people loose by 4.
Yeah, we sure do have a big game today. First chat that's made an appearance. James Morris comes in. Ohio State -8.5 is what he put. That's it, Jack. So we'll be talking about that one. And I just want to say, Joe Bags, don't be too. He shouldn't be too down on himself because Dialed Picks has left everyone in the dust. He's left any gambler anyone out there that's been trying to sports bet, they're in the dust to Dialed Picks because this parlay phenomenon going on is unbelievable to my brain. I still can't wrap my mind around it. I mean, Jack, what are your thoughts?
I'll bug Joe when we actually have him on. He's got a chance to defend himself. But for a moment there in the early days, he was the darling of Wanna Parlay, and he was the darling of Wanna Parlay media content. He had a chance to be the face of this thing. Dare I say, he saw and let it pass by his Hawk Tua moment. He was about to, sew himself into American culture and society for forever. And instead, it's Dialed Picks who gets to take that mantle.
It's just brutal. I mean, the purple the jacket has been ordered. We're just waiting on some details. We need him to do some measurements. We need AI. He doesn't like AI. He didn't sign off on the AI measurements, but we need him. I don't know.
The Jay Hilburn tailoring AI app is deeply intimate. I don't know where those photos go.
Oh my God, that's awesome. All right, accountability hour. So you went 5-2 because you did damn good with the unders, Jack. And then on your 1 over, you were beautiful. You want to go through yours, and because mine's a little tricky because I was a little game time decision.
Yeah. I was a couple of these I left you blank because I was like, a lot of it I talked you into some stuff, and some of it you're fading me, but a lot of it you're waiting to kind of see some closing lines and game day vibes. Which, by the way, thank God you did that probably on a couple of these games. I don't know if that got you right for the Rams. I don't know if all of a sudden seeing some of the weather in Baltimore, all of a sudden you rethought that game a little bit, but. Yeah, I regret not doing some weather reports before entering this weekend because that played a huge factor throughout it. So we'll start with the first game, Texans +8 at Chiefs. The -8 does cover for the Chiefs, so I hit there. And then the under 41.5 looked pretty comfy the whole game. Helpful that I get the Kaimi Fairburn missed field goal. Helpful on some of that stuff. The game gets one side, and all of a sudden I get 4 down territory for the Texans the rest of the game. I get a kind of a timely CJ Stroud sack, all that stuff. I will say this closing line, Lance, was 9.5 for the Chiefs. And by that time, I had wrapped myself so much in a Chiefs frenzy that I chased that number as well. And then they take the safety late to burn me on the 9.5. So in actuality, as good as the logic was across the board, I ended up losing money on the net, lose the VIG on that game, which I pretty much saw perfectly. It's an absolute crime. And I saw that fucking safety coming from a mile away. I'm looking at the situation going, this is so Andy Reid. This is so old school ball school. It's fucking bullshit. One thing you can't do is get a punt blocked right there. And so they just take the safety. Respect the genius. Saw it coming. I hate it. It sucks. How did you end up doing this game? What did you end up picking here?
So you had convinced me when the line was here. When it was -8, you convinced me Chiefs. I was in on Chiefs. I was like, I'm just gonna take Chiefs. That's my announcement on the show. That's what I got. But obviously, when I go to place these bets, I don't place till right before kickoff, Jack. I feel like because if I do it too early, I get in my own head and I'm like, I shouldn't have done it. I go too back and forth. So
you get burned with some late scratches.
Yeah, exactly. Like so so I went Texans +10. So it was at 9.5, like you said, at the closing line. I bailed on everything. I said, I'm too scared of this Texans defense, blah, 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 yada, yada. So I got in. It was 9.5. I bought it to 10, and it was -120 to win 100. So I was like, honestly, that's pretty good to give me the whole point of 10. So basically, I'm the luckiest guy ever. I'm the luckiest guy ever. Yeah, so the safety was the greatest thing to ever happen. I was just so fired up. I was just yelling all around. It was great. It was great news for me. But so my thoughts, I'm like, well, on the show, I was -8. That hits. And then I was on +10, in my wallet. And that hit. So so it was a great game for me. I loved it. There's KG Little Joe's in the chat. Yo. Are you watching the Trump inauguration? You better be. As well as this. And so back to us, Jack. Yeah, it was a good game for me.
Good start. And then Commanders at Lions. What a fun game it was for a while. Thought we were going to get a better fourth quarter than we got. The over was obvious. Glad we weren't scared away by the 55.5. Obviously a huge number, but we've kind of been great about being disciplined on the big numbers from Vegas this year of they really want to go more than that. So we take that. That thing was basically covered by the first half.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. So nice there. Ended up chasing some live Lions stuff. Ben Johnson, congratulations. New Bears head coach as of an hour ago. But I thought my man got a little cute with the play calling. The pick we throw from Jameson Williams, that's brutal. That's brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. I see it both ways. I mean, they had success on it all year and everyone loved it when it was working. And if it did work, everyone still loves them. But I think, Jameson Williams, throw the ball. Do you guys not go, hey, if it's not there, if it's not even close, just throw it out of bounds. Just throw it away. Just make a normal quarterback football play. I know he's a wide receiver. I get it. But I don't know. I still think Ben Johnson is a great OC, and I think he's going to do a great job at the Bears with Caleb Williams.
I'm stoked to see the Bears got it right. All of a sudden, Pete Carroll was kind of getting thrown around there. It would have been fascinating, but like again, that when you got a young quarterback that you have to kind of see that investment through. If you hire a defensive coach, well, then you succeed one year. Your offensive coordinator is going to get a bigger and better job and be moving along. So you're constantly toggling between defenses. Ownership with Chicago did the right thing here. Got an offensive-minded head coach that ideally you get the whole Caleb Williams career now. Caleb gets right, you get right, and the Bears become a force in that division for the first time in a long time.
And KG Little Joe's in the chat right away. He says, we still need an O-line, so we pray for you guys on draft night that you guys get it together as well then.
No kidding, by the way, KG. I was going to bring up mock drafts when we got to the Notre Dame-Ohio State game, but right now I see the Bears are projected to draft an edge, and I was like, if someone drafts an edge on that team, everyone should be fired. Draft 5 linemen and move on.
Yeah. And honestly, the Pete Carroll one, I was pretty interested because, Pete Carroll is a proven winner. Where he goes, he's won. SC and the Seahawks at the end of that career. And I'm going to be honest, I've never been a big fan of his, but I just had to acknowledge that. And he had that young quarterback, Russell Wilson defense. He made it work. So I was a little kind of like, okay, this is interesting. But no, you're 100% right. The Ben Johnson hire is the safest bet and the best pick, especially for a young quarterback in this new NFL. All right.
Rams, Eagles.
I was just gonna say I was heavy on Commanders plus 9.5. Got to throw that out there. I rolled over all my winnings from Chiefs and Texans game. So Saturday was a great day for me. Saturday, I was fired up. But there was a day called Sunday. So let's.
It just tells you every time I open my stupid mouth, I can hear Vegas just laughing in some room right now as they listen to me because it's like I all these are good picks. Yeah, I'm 3-0 on the picks I cared about going into that, and I litter it with props, and I get live lines and doing all this. Once again, another reason why I want to parlay is the place to place your action. You don't fall for those traps. Anyway.
Yeah. So going into it, fuck, man, the Rams Eagles game. What a game! I loved it. I loved every part of it. I'm proud of my Rams team. I'm proud of Frat Stafford, McVay. I still think you run the ball there on 3rd and 2, but I don't care. He's still my guy. But yeah, I had just Rams money line. So obviously I got burned, but they covered the 6.5. So for anyone out there that had 6.5, my Rams team, good teams win, great teams cover. We're a great team. We're a great organization. And yeah, I mean, go ahead, Jack. What are your thoughts about that game?
Until midway through the 4th, I had this game dialed up. Now, I will say a lot of that was thanks to the weather. That kept this game pretty much under ball throughout. Just made it pretty much impossible to throw. It felt like until, we started getting some prevent defenses and guys were able to round their routes a little bit and do stuff like that. So the second Saquon broke it off and crushed my under. Then I was just in mode, please God, come back and cover this. The picks I got excited about, we kind of gotten ahead of ourselves. So I go 0-2 on the picks. I went Rams money line on the under, but I did get some money on the cover, and thank God we get the missed PAT. So the cover of the 6.5 ends up hitting. So not a complete disaster, but the picks I got excited about. That Saquon run, I mean, you got that feeling like it was going to break at some point. It was slick. We were just getting some lazy tackles, some bad angles, and all of a sudden there it goes out the door. Saquon Barkley's season, by the way, what a fun run. Not my point. I'm ripping this off from some of the talking heads on Fox and stuff like that, but he's going to be an interesting Hall of Fame case someday down the road because he's had so many seasons where he's not with injuries and not been able to play. And obviously hasn't been on a ton of winning teams. But there's that Terrell Davis case that exists as precedent, as a backdoor to the Hall of Fame, where if you become an all-time postseason player, you get some forgiveness on some of the other shortcomings, maybe for your Hall of Fame case. So cool stuff right now for Saquon because he is a generational player. It's fun to see him ball.
Yeah, that's what I was saying all game. You're gonna have to eat a Saquon break off. Like that's got to be part of your game plan. You got to plan for it because the guy is so good. Yeah, and I'm so happy for him. And I feel like everyone is, even though a lot of people out there don't like Philly and Philly fans because there's a reason they don't like him. But I think everyone unanimously can agree that they're happy for Saquon Barkley because
the hatred against Philly fans, by the way, Lance, it's all East Coast fans. It's just who's ever winning at the time.
Yeah. No,
It's
100%. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Between New York, Philly, and Boston, it's just whatever team is winning at the time is the unbearable team. They all suck as people.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
No, yeah.
I'll come right down the middle and say it. Put Baltimore on that list too.
No, yeah, that's awesome, and that's so true.
Pittsburgh.
That's so true.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, man, I really thought we had a chance there. We did, of course we did, but like, man, I was fired up. I felt like we were one drive too late on when we should have just started fucking slinging it, because there was one drive too late. We're handing it to Kyron, and we got, pummeled in the snow. And don't get me wrong, the weather, I wasn't down there, so I can't tell you, like, maybe it was just you couldn't throw it on that drive because of the winds or something. But I felt like we should have let it loose a drive early. But really, that final drive, 3rd and 2, right in the red zone, it's 2 down territory. You're down 6. It was about a minute left. My friends are barking at me because of the time. I'm like, you got all the time in the world. You're inside the 20. Yeah. You have a minute left. You just give it a Kyron. And it was a no huddle, fast pace. And we're in gun. And I'm like, you just give Kyron the inside zone. He eats those 2 yards. I know he does. Like, that's too free. Right. They're in passing set. They're jetting down the sides. What do you think?
I couldn't agree more. And easy in hindsight, because there were some times where you get the carries where they were just playing downhill. Like, there was the one drive Collinsworth wouldn't shut up about my man from Wisconsin, Zach Bond, had like 4 consecutive big-time plays, including the fumble recovery on the Matthew Stafford fumble. So also, I kind of got that, but I'm with you. The second they hit Puka Nacua on the chunk play down the right sideline, all of a sudden they were 40 seconds ahead of the clock.
Yeah.
There was a world actually where you were going to score too fucking early. If you all of a sudden score in those next 3 plays, you're giving Jalen Hurts 45 seconds and a couple timeouts in this snowy game with bad footing and great receivers all over the field. Like, I wanted the run bad. I was calling for on 3rd down, would have been comfortable with it again on 4th down. In
my thing, in that 4th down, I'm like, you have a choice in that. If you get stuffed, you take the timeout and you're like, all right, everyone calm, like, settle down.
Yeah.
Actually, they might have not. No, I think they had 1 or 2 timeouts left.
Rams had 1 left.
Okay, 1 left. And I'm like, so if you get stuffed, that's your timeout, right? Yeah, you come up with your 4th down. I mean, you're McVay. I know you have something in your back pocket for this situation.
Even so, actually, Lance, as I'm thinking about it, they didn't even have the timeout. They didn't. They depleted it all in the previous drive. But even so,
didn't need
even it. So, you're good killing clock right there.
Yeah,
you're in front of the clock.
Yeah, it happened fast. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's tough. Playoff football, shit happens.
No, and you're rolling. You just hit how many completions in a row?
Yeah.
You try to get the ball, and argument to be made, you don't want to take that ball out of Matthew Stafford's hands in that moment. Let your best player go win the game for you.
And then you see the center. Oh, that was brutal. I mean, it's Carter bull rushing, and he thinks he's passing it off to the right guard, turns his head, unblocked, just right at Stafford. It's just brutal. And then it's 4th and long. I mean, we know the story. All right, let's move on. Ravens Bills. Man, I'll go first because I was the one that picked live. I went Ravens. Jack, I'm sick. I went Ravens. I just thought I had a gut feeling. Thought I had something. Obviously, I didn't. So now I lost the Rams game and I lost this game. So basically, I went back to even. But this game, I
chased a bunch of Ravens shit. All of a sudden, it got weird with the turnovers, but I still felt like they were in striking distance. I thought we were going to get a great game. Try to create this miracle situation. I mean, the picks I went Bills money line over 51. Both hit late. So on the ones I went down, again, if I could just stay disciplined, I'd be good. But I'm all over this Ravens comeback. Mark Andrews catch the fucking ball.
Yeah, I mean, that obviously highlights, the turnovers, but he was the part of the second half turnovers and catch the ball. It's one of those where I don't want to dog on him because he's already dogging on himself. I could already imagine. It's just a tough situation. Lamar looked great, man, in that second half, 4th quarter, I thought, personally. When he's
the fumble he has to Von Miller is the difference in the game for me, though.
Oh, yeah, that you can't do that.
The defense was settling in. Bills score on their first possession, then went like 3 consecutive punts. You got the ball, you're going in. The play was dead. Just eat it. Just go down and eat it. Trying to make something out of nothing.
But that's who he is. And that's what I came up with in my head. I'm like, that's who he is.
I will say, if you've watched these playoffs so far, the story has been who doesn't fuck the game up. You know, the Lions, you don't turn the ball over 4 times, you win that game.
Yep.
You know, across the board, it's just been a story of just stay and which lends itself pretty good to our college football conversation coming up. Of like, that's been the coolest part about this Notre Dame team is just they've executed fucking unbelievably well.
Yeah, and
They've
don't, and
done
they haven't
exactly what they need to do in every game.
And they just haven't fucked it up. Riley Leonard hasn't had that like boneheaded play or so. Oh, Joe Baggy is in the waiting room. Let's drag him in because we're about to
Let's bring him in. Let's go to the game.
Yeah, Joe Baggy, can you hear us?
You gotta turn your volume.
Yeah,
your camera.
You're muted. I'm texting him right now, folks.
Beautiful. While you're doing that, I'll set the game up. We got Ohio State minus 8.5. That line held up pretty good, as did the over/under 45.5. Couple props out here that I'm excited about, but they've all kind of fallen under this umbrella of this narrative I'm getting ready to pitch here.
Wait, and real quick, KG Lo Joe's had a question. He said, "Did you take that Lamar interception?" I had it in a Wana that lost because I also had Ravens, which obviously sounds now looking back at it, what a stupid parlay. But I got a lot of those on Wana. But Jack, I mean, did you have any action on Lamar's interception? I know KG gave us a free one, but did he have a pick? I don't know.
He did. He had the ugly pick. Kind of was hot off the line of scrimmage. Tried to throw the corner before it broke.
Yeah. I remember now. Yeah, no, I didn't have it. Joe, here he's back in the waiting room. But yeah, keep going about the Ohio State game, the game tonight.
Well, yeah, and I want
turn it horizontal. Turn it horizontal. All right, first words I want to.
Fantastic, by the way.
Yeah. First words I want. It looks like you don't have pants on. First words I want.
Does it really?
No, I'm messing with you. I'm just messing with you. First words I want to hear out of your mouth. What is your username on Wana?
What's mine?
Yeah.
It's Joe Bags.
So we got Joe Bags sitting here with us. We're going into the national championship. Joe Bags, early thoughts. Throw something at me.
Ohio State's going to win the game by as many points as you're willing to even say. I mean, I could go 1,000,000.
Okay, so now I got to pause you there. Jack, keep going with your intro to this national championship.
Joe and Lance, go ahead and step in here because Joe, Lance will tell you, I get a little bit long-winded here with the takes. I get a lot of notes. First, let me say some general thoughts about the game that we can all sit here and just get excited about. Cool fucking game we got in front of us. We got 2 big-time brands. We got big-time personalities in both head coaches with Marcus Freeman and Ryan Day, both kind of in interesting circumstances, very different circumstances between the two of them. We got 2 big-time personalities at quarterback. Which doesn't necessarily even make them likable. They're just interesting and fun. Both are excited and willing to get behind a microphone and say some shit. I'm excited as hell. And then we've got the 2 best defenses in the country with regards to points allowed, which is obviously the most important stat. You're trying to keep guys out of the end zone. Ohio State has given up 12.2 points allowed a year. Notre Dame 14.3, and that includes their playoff numbers as well. So we got a big-time game going here. Joe says Ohio State. I understand why you might.
I think Ohio State by a lot.
I think the spread is deserved. I think on paper, Ohio State is that much better.
And on the field, they're better.
I went and peeked some mock drafts, fellas. Ohio State currently has 4 first-round projected picks this year to Notre Dame's 1. And obviously that doesn't include, your Jeremiah Smith lock future top 10 picks. We go back a year. These teams are very different from them, but we can still draw something from that. Ohio State beat this team, Notre Dame team, on the road at Notre Dame last year. Required some late game heroics. They had to hit a game ball down to the 2. If you guys remember, Notre Dame played the last snap with only 10 men on the field because they fucked up to substitution. But that was the game we got in a 17-14 final, Ohio State at Notre Dame. So you look at these matchups. I see, Joe, why you say what you say. But what do you got going on?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, what was that coming through the mic? What? We got to unmute yourself for us to hear it. Oh.
I have an alarm happening in my humble abode here.
Like a fire alarm?
It would appear.
All right, well.
Now, Now, after seeing what happened in LA, do I take a chance and just stay here with the Fires? Do I get
That's
out?
horrible. That's horrible.
Are you cooking in your kitchen right now?
No, I'm doing absolutely nothing. I don't know how to. This is just poor timing. I apologize.
No, you're good.
No,
Go ahead.
I say we just ignore it.
I say mute your mic and step outside.
Yeah.
His picks are so hot, the fire alarm went off. There you go, There you go,
Exactly
KG. There you go, KG. That's
He's
awesome.
steaming up a fucking storm right now in the apartment.
But yeah, no, keep going, Joe. We're listening.
Okay, Joe, you still got me? Just nod if you do.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So I get the Ohio State thing. I do. So I'm looking, part of me got off on this quest going, is there any world we even get a good game tonight? Because the 8.5 spread that's not going to get covered. I'm seeing this kind of going then one-sided. Is that the game I really go? So I go through Ohio State's schedule. Couple teams that gave them trouble or at least hung in there this year. I took Michigan I took Oregon off this list because obviously Ohio State got right and corrected them. And really, Lance, you were early on this. If you go back, I think Ohio State was just a tough matchup for Oregon because they took them to the fucking to the wire at Autzen, which is a hell of a place to play. But so you go through the games, okay? Michigan won. Penn State took it to the final possession. They get stopped on a 4th and goal. Nebraska gave them a scare early, had the ball late with a chance to win it. If you go through those games and look at the formula for success, Notre Dame actually does fit the profile of a team that can cause problems for Ohio State. So here's how every single one of those games got, and so here's the path for Notre Dame tonight. Timely turnovers. They don't even necessarily need to win the turnover battle tonight. They just need timely turnovers, meaning get them when Ohio State is coming out and get yourself some short field opportunities. Because I just flat don't see Notre Dame going several 80-yard drives tonight. It just ain't happening. Number 2, commit to run stopping early. Notre Dame's got that. They've been the best man coverage defense all year. They're not going to have to live in it because you're going to give up your shots to Jeremiah Smith and Mbuka in there. But the fact that they can do that on 3rd down, if you have to, and you can commit bodies to the run and play man behind it, that gives them a chance. Every single one of these games, Ohio State was held under 100 rushing. No missed field goals. You got to go 100% in the red zone, take your threes. I'm not getting any 4th and 2s that we fuck it up. Make every single field goal. We're good to go. Ohio State against Michigan missed 2 field goals. Michigan was perfect. That was the difference in that game. We have to be able to get home with 4. We got to be able to create pressure. On paper, not going to happen. But that's what was the case against Penn State, and it was the case against Georgia. They've overachieved every fucking game. Marcus Freeman and Al Golden have dialed up a scheme to be able to get home. I think they'll be able to do it. Here's a question that's outside of their control. What kind of game are the refs going to give us? Will they let Notre Dame be physical with receivers on the outside, and then on offense, will they go and let them play with hands and be a little bit physical out there? A fun stat I ran across, Joe Bags, the other day. Yeah. There has not been a holding call against a team, the offense playing against Ohio State's defense. So while Ohio State's defense has been on the field, the offense they're playing against has not had a holding call against them since September 26th.
How?
So what's your point? How does that?
No, I'm saying.
My point being is this. Ohio State's defense is that fucking sick. Do we get to grab a little bit tonight? Are we going to be able to get to away with some shit and hold a little bit? Because so far, that's how these guys have been officiated.
I struggle with thinking that Notre Dame has any chance when they've played 15 games. I think they're 14-1 right now at this point, right?
Yes.
Riley Leonard has thrown for over 200 yards in 6 of those 15. And he hasn't thrown for more than 230 the entire season. Matter of fact, he's thrown for less than 100 more times than he's thrown for more than 230.
That's impressive. Good for you.
That guy, yeah, I come on the show, you love your numbers, you love your statistics. I'm going to give that guy the line from Happy Gilmore. You think you're going to go to the pros. Here's the problem. You're not any good. Riley Leonard is not any good. And you love to root for the guy. He gets on the mic after the games and says how bad he is and how his team's carrying him to the promised land. There's $20 million on the field here, and all 20 belong to the Ohio State Buckeyes. If you want to guard Jeremiah Smith, sure. If you want to guard Emeka Ibuka, sure. But who do you have lingering over there as the third option? Tate. Do you want to guard all three? You want to frickin' zone it up? Sure. You got Judkins and Henderson running down your throat. I just don't understand how anyone sees it another way, to be quite honest. I feel like you're begging yourself for a good game because you don't want to just sit here and watch a walloping. But it's what you're going to get. You're going to watch a walloping.
Okay, let me
take it. Wait. Let me hop in here because Joe Beggs, you're taking the words right out of my goddamn mouth. Notre Dame is one of these historical teams that Vegas has given them a favorable line of 8.5, and it's not even. It should be 13.5 probably because of the matchup between these two teams. I don't see a chance. Before, obviously, the game of football, everyone has a chance. I don't see a chance. They have the slimmest chance of any. This smells like the Alabama Notre Dame Manti Te'o game, 42-14. It's belt to ass. It's gonna be an ass whooping. That's all I got. I can't even see the world. Riley Leonard can't throw receivers open.
Don't get me wrong. I love Marcus Freeman. I think he's a great coach. I don't see how you go against that. Well, who's he played this year? I don't see how he's probably four ranked teams. He played A&M to start. He played both the academies, who were both ranked when they played, and Louisville probably before the playoff. You're gonna tell me that team makes it through the gauntlet that Ohio State's made it through in this playoff against Tennessee, Oregon, and Texas? You're going to tell me that team makes it through that and makes it to the national championship? I disagree.
And we were talking earlier about the Georgia argument, or the Oregon, how you're yoinking Oregon because, that's showing the Rose Bowl. I mean, who knows what that was? I mean, Georgia, they also had the first round bye. They came out with a backup quarterback and they stunk all over the place on offense.
I agree.
Actually, quarterback did play decent. I will give him credit.
Let me ask you guys this question. Who is under more pressure today between Ohio State and Notre Dame?
Ohio State.
But
not by as much as you think, because remember, this is the throwaway season. It was the wash away. This is the second chance. This is their second chance at having everything, even though they lost to Michigan. This is their redemption tour.
But I don't think then we revise this and call the season success if we're a Buckeye fan. I think this all still hinges tonight. If you lose tonight, you didn't win the national championship, you got beat by Michigan, you're a 3-loss team, and you spent $20 million to do it. Notre Dame is playing with house money tonight. And the narrative is this isn't the fucking team from this. And somehow, I don't even agree with the argument, but somehow it's become the consensus that Notre Dame shouldn't even be here. Notre Dame in this era shouldn't be able to compete. I think that's horseshit. I think Notre Dame is one of the few teams that can recruit the whole country. I think Notre Dame's got more money than God. I think Notre Dame's just fine in this era. But for some reason, that's the consensus. So they can really build the us against the world mentality in there and believe in it. I like the vibes in the Notre Dame locker room way more than Ohio State's today. I'm
just telling you right now, Ohio State on this second chance redemption tour, you can see a noticeable difference between their scores before and their scores after. Look at the Michigan game, then look at Tennessee, and it was belt to ass.
Part of me thinks Chip Kelly, we haven't even seen what we're about to see tonight. Part of me thinks that stuff's been hidden way away in the back of the frickin' drawer, and it's gonna be brought out tonight.
It's the only thing that makes sense. There was stuff hidden all year because their offense looked nothing like it did this redemption tour.
You want to say Notre Dame's a team that's built to beat this team. You want to say, Michigan. You want to highlight the Michigan loss. Oh, well, what happened? Are we forgetting that Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois?
That's real life.
They lost to Northern Illinois, who, by the way, went 4-4 in their own conference of dog shit teams.
I see that.
I just don't know how it can go another way. I would bet on Ohio State to win 20.5. I would bet minus 20.5.
I'd bet 20.5 before I bet Notre Dame. I agree with you there.
Let me throw out some other
wait, let me get the chat involved. KG Lo Joe's, by the way, is on your side, Jack. He says Notre Dame covers. Feeling frisky and might jump on money lines. So there are people out there that believe what you're saying, but keep going what you're saying.
I wanted to throw out a couple storylines that absolutely mean nothing, just to fuck with some heads here. Okay.
All right.
Notre Dame playing in Atlanta again, where they just beat Georgia 2 weeks ago. They're back and comfortable this week. They know this venue. They know this locker room. They're feeling good. This is a home game for Notre Dame.
Indoor turf is the same all the way around the country. I don't see, if this was outdoor at the Rose Bowl, I'd see the other art, but even then, there's no argument there.
Indiana with a quarterback with a torn ACL. They played Georgia with a backup quarterback starting his first game in his life. They played
First round bye too.
With Drew Aller, who didn't complete a pass to a wide receiver. And you want to say, oh, well, Notre Dame's just locked down.
And Penn State should have won the game, and Aller gave it to Notre Dame. Keep going, Jeff.
Penn State would have won that game if Tyler Warren plays quarterback.
Oh, woulda, coulda, shoulda, man. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Vegas needs Notre Dame bettors, and it wouldn't have looked serious if it was at 14. They gave them the 8.5 just because they need money.
Give me dot in the eye. Give me scarlet and silver.
Give me the Ohio State University.
Let me get one more argument. So you're not so much into the Atlanta edge here. Let me get one more thing here. Okay. Has God not been making a huge comeback these last couple years? I feel like 10 years ago, you couldn't go on and thank God for winning anything. And now all of a sudden, Scotty Scheffler and the Jesus freaks and Bible thumpers of the world are back on top of the world. I don't know, guys. I think we're having a little bit
It's a low blow. It's a cheap shot because how could I go against God and the Catholics? Joe, help me here.
I struggle to bet against the Catholics. I struggle to bet against the Catholics.
I don't know what it is. Having the big man on your side seems to pay some dividends. Every time I see a Scotty Scheffler going, I'm going, I got to get back in church.
God aside. Are we not going to just see an opening touchdown by the Buckeyes, probably a stop, probably another 3 or 7, be down 10 or 14, and just be begging the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to get a touchdown just to keep it close? To keep it close. Are we not going into halftime down 21?
You want my official picks?
Yep.
You guys can laugh at them?
Yeah, I want to chuckle.
Okay. Just to confront Joe's wild take right there, I'm going under first half, 22.5. Second, Notre Dame plus 8.5. Third, under 45.5 overall. Then give me my Faison. I need my Faison this game. Jordan Faison, the best offensive player. I do love Jordan Faison, who's got a chance tonight to become the first male athlete ever to win two national championships. Let's go Faison. Over 33.5 yards. Over 33.5 yards receiving. Next, Mitch Jeter, who's gotten hot. Kicker for Notre Dame, over 5.5 points. My buddy's going to be locked. Then
do you think that the corners of Notre Dame are both first rounders?
The question, I don't think.
Do you think the corners of Notre Dame?
I don't think Clark is a first rounder. I think the other one definitely.
You think they would start on an NFL team right now?
Yep.
Both of them.
Which, by the way, as would every single Ohio State wide receiver. So it's not like a win, but yeah.
I feel like we're going to get this. We're going to go play man coverage because that's what we've done all
year. KG Little Joe says Notre Dame scores first. Keep going, Joe.
Let me hit my other picks here. Will Howard under 9.5 yards rushing. Will Howard, remember college football props?
He'd have to fall down on his own again.
Oh, you're right.
The sacks count against him. So under 9.5 rushing for Will Howard. And then I'll give you guys some love. Here's the deal. Notre Dame's not stupid. Al Golden and Marcus Freeman, smart guys, okay? So we're not going to get beat living in man with all these stack formations and crossing routes, okay? They're going to have to exist in a little bit of zone, which is why it's not Jeremiah Smith's night for Ohio State. It's a lot of yards for Emeka Egbuka. That's the zone eater. That's the guy running the under routes against deep zone coverage. That's the guy who's going to eat tonight for Ohio State's offense.
Me personally, I think the national championships is where freshmen are born. I mean, we saw Tua Tagovailoa do it a few years ago. I think this is the story of the freshmen. I'm betting on a lot of Jeremiah Smith, especially in that last matchup. They fucking triple teamed him, and Notre Dame's going to be like, well, it didn't work, so we got to go somewhere else. And Jeremiah Smith's about to eat and have the game of his life. I find this.
I completely agree. I think Jeremiah Smith, I went to the Rose Bowl. I was in the stands. I watched the smattering that was that game. And I think Jeremiah Smith is the best player I've ever seen on grass. Granted, he got triple teamed against Texas, so we didn't get to see, the second coming of Calvin Johnson again. But he is going to be the Heisman Trophy winner next year. He is going to be a top 5 pick in the draft in 2 years. And he's going to go for about 170 and a couple scores tonight.
Wow. KG Low Joe's.
Stat line.
Yeah, jeez. KG Low Joe's, I was an altar boy, so God owes me.
Amen.
Notre Dame for the win.
We'll unpack that story another day, KG. Joe, before we let you go, really quick, how's your time been on the Wano platform thus far? You having fun?
I have a great time always. I tell as many people as I can tell to download the app and win free money, but you can't help stupid. You can't help it. Some people are just stupid.
That's the quote of the day, Joe Bags.
Boy, isn't that the case. Joe Bags, you got a couple parlays out there tonight. We see you playing in the Parlay Royale and the Pick 4. So rooting hard for you to win some money. And when you're back in the winner's circle, please come back on and discuss further with us.
It has been a pleasure, and I can't wait to do it again.
All right, Joe Bags.
Gorgeous. You're talented. Your body, your scent, your
See, you're talking about God, and you're lying straight to God's face. I thought we were trying to bet with God. What are we doing? I'm just kidding. All right, Joe Bags.
All right.
Till next time, my friend.
We salute.
There he goes.
Well, we've talked it up, all the picks available tonight. You need a sweetener at Wano Parlay. You can't go all same game. So my sweetener of the night, I'm going Montana basketball. Money line or -4.5.
You find just some of the craziest. I didn't even know they played basketball up there. I thought they might have been hockey.
People needed a lock, Lance. I went and found one for them. Hey, Montana basketball.
You're a good man. We salute you. And mine's Hurricanes money line. They're playing the Chicago Blackhawks. They're rolling. And honestly, I just texted my NHL guy, we got to get him back on the show soon.
100%. As we
after
football season here, we'll dive deep back into NHL because I do not want to talk about the NBA that much. So
Yep. I can't agree more. All right, hit us with the outro. Go Buckeyes.
Let's do it. This was the Wano Parlay podcast, the official podcast of Wano Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every day people are turning $2 investment into $2,000 and walking out the door. It was great. Just where'd I cut out?
It was great.
It was great getting to talk to Joe Bags. He's got some parlays out there tonight. If you want to go look up his account and tail him, the guy knows what he's talking about. He does have one that's a little bit more Notre Dame centric. I'd advise getting on that one. Tons of special shout outs and winners and people worth praising from the weekend. Don D 333. Go get yourself 500 biggies, Don. Way to go. Big Zal winning on Saturday and making 500 as well. Be Free also wins on Saturday. Our guy David Smerling posts a silver. Our Willis is back on the board. Dial Picks is out there still making money. Super, super cool to see. A huge congrats to the big winners. Canes 026 wins 1,000. We're expecting and hoping to get a chance to talk to him later this week, and he will be at that drop takeover, which we've been pushing relentlessly. Hopefully we get a chance to do a live interview with Canes 026 and our guy Kev down there at Little Joe's come February 10th. The Joe's boys are stacking some cash, by the way. If you start looking at those accounts, they're doing pretty damn well over there. So we have Joe Bags and the boys from Little Joe's on today, and all the Joes are making money. It's good to be good. And then a massive congrats, of course, to the gold medalist and the biggest winner of the weekend, Dylan's cash and winning $2,000, taking his grand total up over $4,500. Way to go, Dylan's. Good to be good. And then we just talked about it, but folks, less than a month away from the drop takeover at Little Joe's in Chicago, back and better than ever. Arthur and Bob, Art's a winner on Wana. Bob's back there pouring drinks. KG in the kitchen, whipping up jambalaya, beef sandwiches, and those insane Taylor Street sliders. El Bandito Tequila will be in the house co-promoting the event, as will the good folks of Wano Parlay. This is going on February 10th from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. If you are in the Chicago area, please get your ass over there, download Wano Parlay, win some money, drink some tequila, have a slider with Lance and I. It's going to be good to be good. Lance, fun podcast today. Back same time tomorrow, brother.
Yep. See you then. Real quick, David Smerling, you're late to the show. I don't know what's going on in your world, but next time be on. No, I'm just messing. But he came in and he says Ohio State -8.5. That's the final words you're getting, Jack.
Well, the Raider made some good money this weekend. We talked him up at the top of the show. So, Mr. Smerling, good luck tonight. Good to be good.
Good to be good. All right. Till next time, folks. See ya.